This past week, we read Oreo by Brandy Colbert, and we practiced this skill. Analyze how particular lines of dialogue or incidents in a story or drama reveal aspects of character. We looked at several different moments together from Oreo, and we asked ourselves, what does this moment reveal or show us about Joni, the main character? Today, we would love for you to practice this same skill with your independent reading book. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose an important moment. You're going to choose a moment that reveals or shows you something about the main character. The moment you choose might show you a character trait. For example, maybe in this moment, I'm learning that my main character is selfish or mean or angry, or maybe she's actually acting really brave and is finally standing up for herself. Maybe the moment you choose reveals a way the character is growing or changing. Maybe in this moment, I see that the character is actually learning to finally stand up for herself. Or maybe the moment you choose reveals or shows you a truth about the character that you hadn't seen before. Maybe you're realizing, or I'm realizing, that my main character has actually been angry at this guy for a while and has been lying to herself, and she's finally telling him what she thinks. So you can, the moment that you choose, you can choose to talk about a character trait, you can choose to talk about a way the character is growing or changing, or a truth that you are realizing about the character. So I have chosen a moment from Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. So remember, this novel that I am reading is about two sisters. Their father dies at the very beginning of the book in a plane crash. And what they find out after their father has died is that he actually had a secret family. So he actually had two wives, two daughters, and he was flying back and forth and living with each of them. So they learn this actually after he died. So this is the moment that one of the characters, Camino, that she finally bursts and sobs. She hasn't been sad about her father's death. She's been actually kind of moved on with life. And this is the moment where she kind of breaks and just bursts into tears. So what I did was I found this moment in the book and I wrote down maybe 2 or 3 or 4 sentences, and I'm writing them down word for word. I am putting them in quotation marks. So remember, I have quotation marks around them. I'm putting the page number in parentheses, and then my period actually goes after the parentheses. Okay, so once I've chosen my moment, now I actually want to talk about it. I want to talk about what this moment reveals about my character. But I want to start by actually telling you what is actually happening in this moment. So I'm going to start by explaining this moment to you as someone who is not reading this book. So in this moment, Camino has just opened Facebook and seen her sister's message that she wants to meet her. When Camino sees the message, she bursts into tears. I'm just explaining what's happening. So now I want to explain what this moment actually reveals or shows me about the character. So I think this moment reveals that Camino is struggling to process the death of her father. So that's what I want to talk about in my reading response, is how she's struggling to process the fact that her father has died. So now I'm going to write my huge chunk of reasoning, my explanation. I'm going to explain why I think this. Camino's father died in a plane crash several weeks before this moment, and this is the first time that I've seen her cry. In fact, I don't think I've seen her show much emotion at all in response to her father's death. She's always so calm and focused on taking care of others. I was really surprised that Yahari's message, Yahari is her other sister, her sister that she didn't realize she had, that Yahari's message made her so emotional. She's been so focused on supporting others, and I don't think fully admitted to herself that he was actually gone. When my cousin was killed in a boating accident, I remember that it took a long time before I really believed that she had died for real. I think that this is the first time that Kameno has been honest with herself that she knows he's gone forever, and that's why it surprises her. So one thing you might do that I think really helps to talk about this moment and what it shows you about the characters is to actually talk about specific words or phrases in the evidence or in the quote that you've chosen. So I want to talk about this line that a sob pulled up from the well in my chest. So I said, when she says the sob pulled from a well in my chest, I think she's saying that her sadness was building up, and this is the moment when it all pours out of her. So you are going to choose a moment from your book. I want you to tell me what is happening in this moment. I want you to tell me what it reveals or shows you about the character. And remember, that could be a character trait, that could be a way that the character is growing or changing, or a truth about the character. So I chose a truth about the character, that she is struggling to process her father's death. I want you to explain your thinking. And remember, this shouldn't feel like a claim-based paragraph, right? You just can write and show me your thinking. So explain what you're thinking, why you think that reveals that about the character. And you don't have to, but you might talk about specific words and phrases in the evidence or in the quote that you've chosen. So it is going to look like a paragraph. I broke it up here to show you some different parts, but you can write it as one full paragraph. And remember, just to let your thinking kind of flow. Don't worry about spelling and grammar, but please do really show me that you are thinking about the text, you're thinking deeply about the character and what this moment reveals or shows you about that character. Okay, get started.